All right, it has been a massive weekend for Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs on the recruiting trail, picking up two giant commitments, both of them from the state of Tennessee. I'm going to talk all about that and more and why this is such a big deal. Of course, it wasn't just one guy, it was two. I'm going to talk about Jared Curtis. First, he was the quarterback, 5-star from Nashville Christian, 6'3", 215. 247 Sports has him as the #1 player in the country, I believe. But according to the On3 industry, he's number 14 overall, #3 quarterback. Easy to see why. I just went and watched his film again, just to get a better understanding of what this guy's going to bring to Athens. Did a little pros and cons list, okay? Going to be breaking that down. A lot of pros, but there are some cons. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. This guy isn't either. So I'm going to talk about what his biggest strengths are. And the thing that stood out the most to me about this big kid, again, 6'3", 215, who can run, dual threat for sure, with a big arm, is that his ability to buy time back in the pocket really stands out. This kid's athletic. He's got really good footwork. He can elude defenders and buy him some time while keeping his eyes down the field. He can throw on the run. He's just a playmaker. And this is not a one read, go to this guy type of quarterback. He's going to sit back there. He's going to buy time, and he's going to look for a guy down the field that he can sling it to. And the arm talent is there. The ball zips out of his hands. It's easy to see why he is easily one of the best quarterbacks in the country for the 2026 class. And now he's on board. I mean, he was a top Georgia target from the very beginning. Again, Mike Bobo sees this kid, the way he can move in the pocket, and the footwork is phenomenal, especially for a sophomore. Again, this kid is just finishing up his second year, threw for 2,522 yards. When watching the film, you would think it was closer to 4,000. He's ripping defenses off. He's making some big-time throws. 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. We'll talk about that a little bit more. 543 yards on the ground, 13 touchdowns. The kid breaks a lot of tackles. He can make guys miss. Plays a little bigger than 215. I think he's got the frame to keep adding muscle and weight. He's great around the goal line, quarterback draw, you name it. But he can improvise. When he wants to buy time and throw the ball down the field, if it's not there, he can run it and pick up 6 yards on a big 3rd and 5. He can pick up 4th and 3, right? He can improvise, but he still wants to sling it down the field, and he does a good job of that. He's accurate overall. Good arm strength, really good arm strength. Is it elite? I don't know about that. I'm not going to put his arm strength up there with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields and, the Caleb Williams, the elite of the elite. But he's very good. Now, the question I'm going to get, is he Julian Lewis? Compare the two. I like Julian Lewis a little better. I like Jared Curtis's size more for sure. But Julian Lewis is big enough. He's 6'1", around like 185, 190. Jared Curtis obviously bigger, brings more of a mobile threat. But I think Julian's arm is better. I think he's more accurate. I think he is a better quarterback. But both are very good. Jared Curtis understands the game. He's a natural back there. He's been doing this a while. He's a really good athlete, but he makes it look easy, and he understands the position in his role. Julian does too. They're both outstanding. They're both 5-star quarterbacks. But Julian, again, in the 25 class. This is a 2026 kid. Georgia still needs to sign a quarterback and find one in the 25 class. Matt Zollers is a kid who's coming down to the wire in his recruitment. He's going to take a visit to Georgia, I believe, next week, early April, and then make a decision after that. I don't think he's going to go to Georgia this second from what I'm hearing. I think it's Julian Lewis, and then maybe Ryan Montgomery, maybe find another quarterback in the 25 class. Maybe I'm wrong about Matt Zollers. I don't know just yet, but right now, from what I'm hearing, he's leaning elsewhere. But Jared Curtis is no doubt a baller. And no matter who they get in 25, whether it's Julian Lewis, someone else, Jared Curtis has the potential to be a very good player for the Dawgs down the road. There's a lot to like about his game. Now, here are some where are the not the weaknesses, but the not red flags either. The cons. Let's call them the cons. He threw 56% completion percentage. You want to see a little bit better than that. But when I'm watching the film, I'm seeing, ooh, that's a tight window throw. Oh, he zipped it in there. the kid's accurate. And then you look and say, oh, he only threw 56%. What happened there? You know, is it drop passes? Is it just more bad passes that weren't in the highlight? But 56%, not ideal. The numbers aren't crazy, again, but the talent is easy to see. Julian Lewis put up crazy, wild numbers. So did Trevor Lawrence. So did Gunnar Stockton. So did Brock Vandagriff. Those type of numbers aren't there. He doesn't play against the best competition. He's not working with the best talent. They got blown out by Prince Avenue Christian in Athens. The base out of Athens, Bogart. I think that was like 42-0. I went back and watched the highlights from that game, and there were two clips. He hit one little inside slant, you know, threw a couple defenders. It was a nice throw, and then he had like a 14-yard run. That was it. So the team isn't that great. It's a team game, but as the quarterback, it's something you look at, right? No one's perfect, and when you watch this guy's film, he's very, very good. So my job is to say, okay, the kid's not perfect. Where can he improve? But when he's slinging the ball like Brett Favre and Stetson Bennett, and he's running through guys like Josh Allen, it's hard. But then you think, yeah, he's not playing against the best, but he doesn't also, you know, have the best. The numbers aren't exactly there, but the kid passed the eyeball test. He can throw, he can run, he moves well. There's a lot to like. And again, he's a 5-star prospect, but that's maybe why the numbers aren't crazy. And his team went 6-7, and they got blown out a couple times, and he's only throwing 56%. So you look at that, there is some, you know, he can get better, and he will get better. He's only a sophomore. Kid's going to be very good. He's only going to get better. This is a massive, massive pickup for the Dawgs. Another one, Stephon Shivers. 6'4", 355-pound defensive lineman. These are the guys you win with, okay? You look at his ranking, and he's ranked as the number 66 defensive lineman in the country, number 782 overall. I don't care. I don't care at all where this kid's ranked. You go watch his film. 6'4", 355. The first play in his highlight reel, he's just a bowling ball. They give him the ball at fullback, and he's just bowling through guys. Big boy, just picking them up, putting them down. He can run really well for 355. There's been other runs in that play where you're like, wow, he looks like the fridge, but a better, a lean fridge. The fridge for the Bears was like pushing 400 pounds. This guy is, 350. 350, that's a lot of cheeseburgers. But he racked up a lot of tackles. 90 tackles from the interior defensive line. Dude, taking on double teams left and right, just throwing kids backwards, attacking the ball carrier. Made 20 tackles behind the line of scrimmage, 11 sacks. He's a multi-sport star. He joined the 1,000-point club in basketball halfway through his junior year. This is a phenomenal athlete, and these are guys you win with. Georgia lost to Alabama. Big reason why is because they didn't have a monster in the middle. They lost the battle in the trenches, and they lost their chance for a three-peat. They need a guy like Jordan Davis, Devonta Wyatt, Jalen Carter. Maybe that guy's on the roster right now, and we don't know about it, but he's set to emerge. And there's still 5 months before the season, so someone needs to already on the roster. But Stephon Shivers could be that guy for the future. I hope I'm saying his name right. I've never met the young man, but this is a kid that Georgia offered last summer. I think it was like last June. So he's been on Trey Scott's radar for a while. And you can't teach that size and that ability to run. I mean, he's like a bear coming after you. You see it on National Geographic. You see it on Huddle. This guy, explosive off the snap, lives in the backfield, swallows the ball carrier, and then just spits him back out like a ragdoll, slings him 5 yards. It is fun to watch. And a lot of players like this have those types of highlights. Trent Thompson was the same way. I mean, the ball was snapped. Trent Thompson's in the backfield, and you don't see the ball carrier anymore. Like, he ate them, and this guy's eating up ball carriers. You're like, where'd he go? And then you see the guy just sling him 5 yards. I mean, it's something to watch. I went back and watched it again. But there are a lot of plays where they hand the ball off to him and he takes off and you're like, wow, this kid's 350 pounds. But he's productive. He's massive. He moves really well. He plays different sports. I love everything about this kid. I don't care where he's ranked. Georgia offered him when he was unranked. They offered him last summer, and he still, 9 months later, he's ranked barely in the top 750 in the country. Where did I say? No, he's 782. He's barely in the top 800 in the country. That ranking will increase. And again, you give Trey Scott and Kirby Smart a big project like this, a raw, high ceiling project, and they get this kid even more in shape, transform his body even more. Make sure he gets the most out of his talent and gets him to understand his role in this defense to clog running lanes and eat up space and occasionally get after the quarterback and make things easier for the guys around him. This is a guy who can do that. I don't care where he's ranked. This is a big, big pickup for the Dawg, a possible game changer, because if he comes anywhere close to Jordan Davis, which that's what they're looking for, they're telling all these guys, Jamal Jarrett, they said, we need you to be the next Jordan Davis. They got him on board. Maybe he could be. Nnamdi Agboko, another 355-pound kid they signed last year from North Carolina. They told him, hey, we need you to be that massive mountain in the middle. And now Stephon Shivers is that guy for Georgia in the 25 class. He's in the 25 class, Jared Curtis in the 26 class. But either way, two Dawgs, two really, really big-time players from the state of Tennessee committing to Georgia this weekend. It's a big deal. Both of them are, and you could read more about them over on Dawg Post. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something about two new future Georgia Bulldogs. Really appreciate y'all watching this video, but you could read more about them over on the website. You can sign up to our free newsletter. That link is right down below. It's free to sign up. It's free to read these stories that are on the website right now. Thanks for watching this video. Enjoy the next one. I'll see you on Dawg Post.